Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for MARRIAGETOXIN chapters 139, 140, and 141. I've waited for 3 more chapters to come out, and the PV for the anime, the first PV, just came out earlier today. So if you haven't seen it, go check out the PV. Just came out earlier today, and it's looking really good. Now, of course, I have unrealistic expectations because I love this manga so much. I want it to get like a Chainsaw Man level adaptation. Now that's not realistic. For like anything you love, it getting that amount of care put in to the adaptation is just not realistic to hope or expect from something. But I do have hopes that it'll be really, really good. I mean, it's got a good studio, it's got Bones, so I really, really hope we can get something good. If you want to see what little bit we got to see, just like episode 1 stuff, there is the PV out already, so I wanted to shout that out. And the only other thing before starting to read, since we had kind of, I think, 2 break weeks, it's been a while, I've had over a month to think about this, I am going to start you off with a hot take. I'm going to start you off with something a little bit negative. I don't like puppet user, doll user, whatever, their real body. I think that the like robotic sort of mannequin disguise, so cool. The sensei, like all the faces he was making as sensei and everything, again, so cool. Both of those designs, peak, incredible. But then it's super disappointing because we go from those incredible designs to like, what is this? I feel like there's too much going on. And yet it's like it's generic, but also over-designed at the same time. There is too much going on, but also it looks kind of generic. It looks whatever. It's like a piece of hair looking weird. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't like their design here. And it was so good before. It was so good. And also the generic nature of just being like, muhaha, I'm an evil person doing evil things. Maybe they're not, because they've been kidnapping them, but they haven't killed them, presumably. I just still want to know what was up with that scene where it seemed like they were sending members of the family out to deal with the individual, like, waifu candidates. Maybe I just totally misread that scene. I need to go back and reread. I just feel like whatever happened to that, because I thought that at first that's what was going on with the sensei stuff, but it seems like it just wasn't. That really didn't lead anywhere at any point at all, and now we're getting into this sensei being doll user stuff, and I just think story-wise I'm questionable on it. Design-wise, the design was so incredible and then so disappointing. So we'll see what happens here. But we have a complex web of schemes entangling the ladies who hold feelings for Gero. What's the true goal behind it all? Your plans. Correct. You must be curious, yes? He immediately injects and, no, I don't give a crap. And gets dodged and punched. It was I who isolated Himekawashi and introduced her to Takarazukashi. What did you do to Himekawa? And he injects another dosage. It wasn't only her. Now he's above. Gero-san, it was I who orchestrated the double booking of you and Dakakurashi for that bodyguard job. I then bestowed power upon those ironclad inferiors, and had them launch an attack on Nabe. And he goes for a third injection? Oh, and yes, still getting physically dominated though. The vendetta that Chateau Honore's Minoshi waged against Ureshinoshi, also my doing. What? You bastard. Even Ureshino. It was this man who taught me my techniques. But also, this is only half of them. We haven't even... he hasn't done anything to the other half. He knows all of my tricks. Of course, this isn't to say that every single little detail was my handiwork. For instance, in Ushiyoshi's case, when I served as Haibeshi's consultant, a belief system that could accelerate the clan's decay was already in place. I merely utilized elements from it, such as their way of the fire and their notion of a child of omen. Surely you found it odd. Why ever would the Ghetto family be in possession of a medication for airborne contact dermatitis? This feels a little silly and goofy too. And not in like a good, silly, goofy way. Like, this would have been so far prior to events of things going on that it makes no sense for him to have, like, thought that this would be related to Ghetto in any way. Incidentally, Akakurashi's family is distantly related to the poison users. In all likelihood, however, that family is ignorant of their origins, as they were evicted from the clan ages ago. Your high compatibility in fighting together, combined with her ability to use the Ghetto family's lifespan-consuming toxin, you must have found these coincidences curious, no? So, if they did, like, Akakura has felt the most fitting for him, and if he did end up with her because of stuff like this, then his, like, you know, offspring's abilities would take the family to an even further level. Having said all that, it was never my intention to deceive these ladies. My sole objective was to assist you, Hikaru-sama, in finding a wife. But it was a triumphant success. You know, Himi, not mentioned at all? The ladies involved all developed feelings for you, did they not? Every single one. But you're stumped over which one of them to marry, yes? And then, that's certainly the customary feeble mindset. Listen here, Hikaru-sama. You are the successor of the Ghetto family. You will take all of them as your wives. Every single one. I mean, kind of based. I mean, why complain? It's like the anti-evil plan. But yeah, this plan kind of makes no sense. The relations here with the sensei kind of make no sense. Why he would want to do this kind of makes no sense. But we'll see how it goes, I guess. There's certainly some sort of backstory that must be involved. But, you know, we can't, it's being presented as an evil plan, so that means we're not getting harem root. Especially if we're seeing the 2-page spread here, we're not getting harem root. But either way, moving along. After all, wouldn't you feel bad for the other girls you don't choose? I mean, again, yeah, that's kind of an argument against, like, why I hate love triangles usually, because usually in the love triangles there is a loser character, and the loser character tends to be the better one. Like, there's always, like, the generic romantic interest, and then the actual deep interesting character, and then the main character in the love triangle goes for the generic one, and then the actual more deep and well-written character kind of just loses. They might get a consolation romance with some random other character, but typically speaking, they just kind of lose out. Then we've got clasping hands in front of him. Poison blood unleashed. He's doing this from before. Burst of light. That's it, Hikaru-sama. Come at me with all your soul. Will his ultimate technique, born of fury, prevail? And he stopped. Again, I do not know how to feel. This might be jumping the shark for the series. Like, what on earth are they doing with this character and the plans, and trying to connect everything that's happened before to being like, actually, I set all of this kind of stuff up. You know, not a huge fan. But we'll see how things go, I guess. Sorry about that. I ran out of time to record, so I had to come back the next day, and it's a rough place to end on. We're continuing with 140, but I don't like what's happening right now. And you know, it's not that I don't like Marriage-Toxin. I've covered it from the beginning on the channel, and I've been saying a long time, I said a lot that it was my favorite manga. It's still one of my favorite manga. It's up there. That's currently ongoing. And I fear that I'm seeing one of my favorite manga shoot itself in the foot right now. I mean, that's the risk you take with like plot twists or like twists, anything like that, I guess, is, we have something set up and established and you're, taking it in somewhat of a different, surprising direction, and that can pay off really well and bring excitement, or it can be lame like I think this is so far. Like, I feel like all the build-up we've had for the doll user, this is a lame payoff for it. I just don't know why we're seeing this right now, why this is a part of the story, because again, we had been going back through the characters and developing them more, but even last chapter, like, they're like, this character I set up this I set up this, Himi just shown but not even really mentioned. We haven't seen her other than her one arc, really. I just don't know why we're seeing this, what we're doing with it, why the doll user, who again had this really cool build up for a while and looked really cool, how doll user turned out to be so lame. I'm really hoping it just goes somewhere good, because so far I think that the past few chapters, this twist is ass. I just don't think it's been very good at all. So yeah, being a little negative, sorry about that, but I really, really, really don't like this right now. Also bringing up things like the harem route, and bringing up that this isn't a bad thing, bringing up the harem route as an option, bringing up how the other girls would be disappointed if he picks one. I assume that he's going to say no, that would be wrong for insert whatever reason, but again, it's a fictional world, fictional universe. I am not against the harem route personally, but even if it is going to be a single specific romance, which again is most likely to be Kinosaki, even though I kind of like Gero and Kinosaki as, friends, partners in crime, so to speak, not really as much as a romance. I don't really like the romance between them as much, even though I do think it's the most likely one. But yeah, I think he's going to say no, we can't do harem route because reasons. Because that's not really what he wants or anything anyway. He wants like a singular love romance, a very normal home life, it seems like. I just don't know. I don't know what we're going to end up with. Continuing with 140 though, we can talk through as we go. There's probably even more I wanted to say, but I am not remembering at the moment. We have judging a student's growth and competence through first-hand experience. Shoot me with your poison blood unleashed. Build it up nice and slow. I'm not going to run away. This bastard. He wants to bring me to my knees. He intends to show me the overwhelming difference between us by conquering my ultimate move. Is something the matter? Right. That's exactly the bluff he's trying to pull. And right after we get all of the anime stuff too, it's like, you want to be excited for that, but you're seeing the manga do this. Again, why is it coming at this point in the story? This really feels like one of those editorial saying, okay, wrap things up a little bit, do something like this. This really feels like outside of what we were doing with the story and just throwing this in here now because we need more eyes on it for the anime maybe. But again, if they had just stuck with how they had been writing things, I think we would have been good, because people who are reading this long are reading because they like the way you have been doing things. I don't know, not a fan. That's exactly the bluff he's trying to pull, using the fear he's implanted in me, but I've now moved beyond his teachings. I've polished my technique on my own throughout this marriage journey. And he fires it. And I'm assuming he's just going to tank it. This is too cruel. He grabs Gero by the throat. Is this truly all you have to show after the 21 years we've spent together? Was it all for naught? And we see death written over his face, but the doll user's arm gets cleaved off before he can crush his throat. Apologies. I must stay positive. Okay, yeah. He was about to, in his, emotional upset from seeing how disappointed he was with Gero's strength. He was going to lose it and choke him in that moment, but he cut his arm off to stop himself. Apologies. I must stay positive. I swore to myself that I wouldn't abandon this generation too hastily. There is still hope. He looms over Ureshino. Gero-san? And Dosans her in the head? It's not only Ureshino-san. Once I confirmed their feelings for you, I also took Himekawa-san and Akakura-san into the Gero family residence. And you too, Hikaru-sama, shall be spending some time at home for a while, if you can produce offspring with them. And the lights all cut out. Peachy, I'm assuming from the hair? I think it is. Runs in and is able to escape with them. Okay, so Doll User then is probably going to take Ureshino to live in the Gero household, like he said with Akakura and the other in Himekawa. And it's kind of silly now that we've gotten this. Like, he could have just kidnapped Ureshino, because now it's like, okay, it seems like the priority would be to go save those three, or do we run through bonus arcs with the other three for the other three to get kidnapped? It seems like the story's moved past that, though. Who is this? What's happening to me? Ureshino? Himekawa? Akakura? Ureshiyama? Ushio? Himi? And we go through them, but also we kind of haven't gone back to some things, like the stuff with the Beast Clan and Tonako and stuff. Kinosaki? I'm sorry. And he puts Kinosaki with them, thinks of Kinosaki in the big panel after all the rest of them. In that case, I see. In that case I shall wait, and carefully prepare their bedchambers. Okay, so we are, immediately after I mention it, we have Tonako here. Are you certain about this? A debt to me will cost you. Please, Dogo Tonako-san. I can't let things go on any longer than they already have. And Kinosaki had contacted her. Devotion to a man who isn't even your mate? You reek of so much humanity, it's lovely. Seeking help from Tonako. And now, I was assuming this was Peachy. I wonder what's going to happen with, because their hair looks light colored, so it doesn't look like Tonako's involved in here. Unless maybe with the fang and stuff, maybe this is Toshiro? Or one of the Dogo family? So it could be Toshiro potentially saving him. Because I don't remember. Was his hair light? I thought it kind of had dark parts and light parts. So it might be one of the light parts of his hair. And the Dogo family's coming in to save him. But again, with where the story is now, don't we need to save those three before we can move on and see anything with the other characters? I feel like this is it's not just that it's sort of pressing, because you're going to be like, okay, well, he doesn't intend to hurt them or anything, but it feels like anything we get after this would be kind of dumb, because you would be like, why isn't it just always on the back of his mind that they've been kidnapped now that he knows? So I don't know. I feel like these past few chapters have been, we will see if it is series ruining. I feel like it's been kind of bad. Again, it's weird. This is what happens when you do twists. I feel like they can pay off, but it's a big gamble, because they can do the opposite of paying off, and so many twists I've seen have been either like the worst part of a story, or have just retroactively undermined things that came before them, or made the story much, much worse. And yeah, this is rough. I think the past few chapters have been not the best. Of course, the art's still wonderful and everything, but I think the story is going way off the rails. So we'll have to see what happens. We get to read one more before having to wait again, but reading these individually week to week, oof. Especially with like multiple week breaks between them, Yikes. Either way, let's see what 141 has. And again, like I mentioned before, it sucks because I really want to be just hyping it up and sharing it around to everybody because of the anime coming and everything, and geez, I really wish the story wasn't doing this. I don't know what the issue is here, like why we're doing all this, but I dragged them into this. I couldn't protect them. 100 million torments of regret weighs on his mind. Should I have really gone through with this whole marriage journey? He thinks about the 6 of them and then Kinosaki. We have chapter 141 and a big color spread with the 6 marriage candidates, Kinosaki, Leo, and Naruko. Okay, so again, thinking of who they could end up with if he does pick a singular person, it's kind of a bummer because, again, I don't really totally like Gero and Kinosaki as a relationship, though it feels like that's what we're most strongly moving toward. But it's like out of the 7 of them, there are some backup ships, like I've been mentioning. I could totally go for, backup ship Himakawa and Arashiyama. Could totally go for that. Could Naruko end up with anyone? Like, could you go like Naruko Ureshino? Like taking a journey from their first arc together being him as a villain to them then falling in love with each other. You could do that, but I feel like the issue is that he's been in multiple arcs, but they haven't been the Ureshino ones. They haven't been the ones to interact with her at all. And then I feel like, again, if Gero and Kinosaki didn't end up together, then Leo and Leo Beppu, right? Leo and Kinosaki, I think would be totally cool. I think, again, him finally getting Kinosaki would be just really, really, really fun for them to end up together. But then it's like, who would Himi end up with? Because we've barely seen her as a character. Ushio doesn't really have anybody else. Same with Akakura. Akakura has Kirito. I could see Kirito Akakura, but that would just feel like I mentioned before with the issue I have with a lot of love triangles and everything, it would just feel like one of those consolation romances where it's like, okay, she very much loved this one person, but this one person is choosing somebody else, so she just kind of ends up with another person, even though it clearly wasn't the person she really loved. I feel like that would be one of those sorts of issues. Like, here's the thing. If it's me personally, if I am Gero-kun, depending on if they have to be biological female or not, I'm going Kinosaki. Like, I am making that choice. But like, if it has to be somebody that you can have kids with, then me personally, though I'm tempted by Arashiyama, I'm going Ushio personally. That's my personal choice. Though Arashiyama would be tempting. Like, again, and if harem route is on the table, harem route's the easy choice, the best choice, obviously. But for Gero and his character, it's one of those things where his relationship with most of them is good enough. Like, even though Himi's had the least screen time, it's like, it doesn't feel like the relationship would be a bad relationship. And then Ureshino, I feel like their relationship is the most normal, and you could see him having the most normal life ending up with her, which kind of like makes it fit sort of the best. His relationship with Kinosaki is amazing. I just don't like it as much as a romance. But again, if it ends up as a romance, it's not like I'm going to complain too much because it seems like the obvious way to go story-wise for me. And then I think that him and Arashiyama is great, but it's not like he needs to end up with her. And the same goes with Himakawa. I feel like they have both developed enough on their own with other things that while it would be nice for him to end up with them, like the harem route would be amazing, I think that they stand on their own enough that it's like neither of them really need to end up with Hikaru. And then I just think that Akakura is the most fitting choice, the one who has done the most like outright romance kind of stuff towards Hikaru as a character. And then Ushio is one that I think that her romance with Hikaru is very, very, very good. But I also feel like even though their romance is very good, I just don't see it as much happening as like if he has to choose one specifically. I just don't see as much of it happening as some of the others. We have Kinosaki now. Kinosaki? And he's waking up. Your turn, Crud. Move it. He's stumbling through this sort of stone tunnel out into a cage surrounded by a bunch of people. And the moment you've all been waiting for. Where am I? And he's wearing the snake collar thing, so it is Dogo family. A very special challenger from the venerated top 5 families. The poison user, Gero Hikaru. And then announcer, Prisimian user, Dogo Tokuro. And on the opposite corner, humans are nothing but a bundle of firewood, the chopper, the killer, with 9 consecutive victories, the axe user, Nibukawa Sakinosuke. For real, this scraggly little stick ain't even worth chopping down. No rules, no favors, and no special equipment. I wonder how he'll fight just on his own without any, like, poison or equipment then. Like any external poison or whatever. Just a pure, no-holds-barred battle to the death. Ready, fight. Then again, axe user won't have an actual axe. He will have to use the metaphysical axe within his heart via axe hand chops. He's going in for an attack? What is this place? Why am I don't have my toxin. He gets axe hand chopped. He lands a hit. The axe user special move, axe hand. Our challenger may be from a top 5 family, but he looks to be in a tough spot without his doping. Writing me off already? I don't need to waste any toxin on the likes of you. A relentless barrage that gives no quarter. The poison user stuck on the defensive. He's completely helpless. This guy puts his back into every attack. His inexhaustible stamina is commendable, but in such a state of fury, all I have to... Okay, hold on. I was reading that as if it was still... Was his name Tokudo? The announcer guy. This guy puts his back into every attack. His inexhaustible stamina is commendable, but in such a state of fury, all I have to do is endure his attacks. He realizes something, and in due course, a big gap is bound to turn up. Then a quick poke at that spot is all it's going to take. And he's able to land a kick to the midsection and topple him. Everyone's chanting for him to kill him. A single hit to turn things around. He isn't from the top 5 families for nothing. Now, finish him off. Hurry and kill me. No need for that. And we see everyone's reactions. This one person is kind of highlighted a bit between these two identical twins, as it were. We have cheering as he leaves. What the heck is this place? The last thing I remember is losing to Nasu. And, hey, Scumface, I'm sorry. Then, you laughed when our bro got beaten, didn't you? Huh? Lanky wimp. You want me to chop you with my axe hand, huh? Okay, and we have the identical twins. And this must be the one who was highlighted then. I'm really sorry. I swear I ain't smirking. This is just how my face looks. Hey, douchebags. Huh? Want me to chop you with my axe hand, huh? Same threat. You're pissing me off. Get out of my sight. Go to hell. Thanks, man. Your boy PK ain't ever gonna forget this debt to ya. Hey, Boss Ghetto, can I call you Big B, please? Then, what is this place? The Sanctuary. There's a huge prison. Surely you must have heard of it before, yeah, Big B? The infamous specialist prison. Dreaded more than death itself. Okay, and this seems to be Toshiro, trapped down in the pit. I guess after trying to usurp the family, that would happen. The depths of the abyss, where the defeated get dumped. So we're going to have a prison arc. Kind of makes sense then why he would not go straight away to rescue everybody from the manor. But even when we get out of this, it's like, okay, he'll still have to go rescue everybody. We might wrap in more characters here, like maybe Ghost User, who we haven't seen in a while, like some of the ones that haven't returned as much. And we're bringing in Toshiro again, which is great. The Dogo family again. It just feels like, again, we got the stuff with the kidnapping way too early. Like, I don't know. I think the kidnapping subplot, which is kind of a main plot, and the reveals with Nasu, the sensei, and everything. Like, he was so much cooler back when he was just the sensei, or back when he had the, like, plastic doll face. So, for me, it's just kind of weak. I think, again, it'd be great to be going into this, this arc in some other fashion. It just feels like, okay, now they're just hanging out, kidnapped. It's super lame. I really don't like the kidnapping subplot. They should have just left them not kidnapped, or maybe just like maybe have them surveilled or something. Like if we saw the sensei just creeping on and following around Himekawa at the end of that arc, or then the same with Akakura, and now here again, just show that, like with the doll that we had following Himekawa around, just do things that showed that the doll user was like lurking and surveilling them, because like actually physically kidnapping them, and it's like, okay, so the whole time that Gero's been playing around with specialist masters, Akakura and Himekawa have just been kidnapped. Like, it's super silly and dumb. I think it's a really, really dumb bit of writing. And I think the reveal is super lame. And also, not only is the reveal super lame, it was revealed way too early. We've only gone through like half of the characters before getting to it. If anything, reveal it at the end after they're all kidnapped. Because then you could be like, oh, he doesn't know that they've all been kidnapped somehow, even though he's been like texting them or whatever. And it's like, okay, either they didn't answer their texts for a long time, or the texts have been, you know, being faked by doll user. It's just super lame. They shouldn't have had them be actually kidnapped, just surveilled or something, because them being actually kidnapped just brings up a bunch of silly, unneeded questions with how Gero would react to that. So I think that's really, really dumb. And if we were getting the reveal, it should be at the very end, after they've all been kidnapped, or after we've seen them all getting surveilled. Again, why did he go after Himekawa after that one arc, but just leave Arashiyama? That doesn't make sense. For this arc in the prison, maybe Arashiyama comes back to help rescue him. Maybe it's Ushio, since Ushio's more of a fighter, and then they get kidnapped at the end of this. But again, are we going to get this reveal and then go through with the next three getting kidnapped? That seems silly and ridiculous too. If we do it off screen, that's silly and ridiculous, because that means even less screen time. Like for Arashiyama, maybe that makes sense, but that means even less screen time for a character like Himi, who's gotten the least. Yeah, this whole kidnapping thing is just dumb. It is poorly implemented, poorly paced, poorly written. It's just a bad thing in an otherwise fine story. I really think instead of that, we should have just kind of kept with the status quo, honestly. Yeah, either way, that's where we end here. Maybe this prison arc will be good, but again, the problem with the kidnapping is even if the prison arc is good, this entire time we have to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, they're just kidnapped off screen right now. It's super dumb. So either way, we'll end here. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of the chapters, my thoughts and reactions. Subscribe for more Marriage Toxin, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks or sharing around, it's appreciated. If you would like to help support the channel by becoming a member or patron, you get to help support the channel, but also get your name at the end of videos and get One Piece Bingo a bit early. You can just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to Chosen Regulars Evan Holly and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, JA and TD Band, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Paterity Hall, and Elsa the Storyteller. What do I even title this video at this point? Thank you for your support, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.